Hello and welcome to Barb Talks. Today we're painting some trim work in the house. As you can see behind me, I've got a blue trim window and I have some other things that are that same periwinkle blue trim. Actually, the official name of it is Brewster Blue. I don't know if I have time to paint it today, but I also plan on doing the green. I have blue on the dining room side trim, and I've got green on the living room side trim. I painted this part of the house like 15 years ago, and I long ago don't have the paint. And so I figured, I'll just go back to the store that I got it from and get a couple quarts of touch-up paint. But it turns out the store that I got it from, they don't have that type of these exact colors, and they just couldn't do it for me unless I paid like $125 color matching fee or something. So I'd been kind of pouting around about that, wondering what I should do. So I decided that I would go to some other paint stores, not the original store I got it from, but see if maybe another paint store in town and another brand might have a color that's similar. So I came upon the Sherwin-Williams brand, and I bought this. This isn't a promotion by them. I just wanted to let you know who was it that actually helped me with my dilemma, which was finding a matching paint. And I went to a Sherwin-Williams store, and Faye Garrison, it says part-time product specialist. So what I'm thinking is that product specialist might be the keyword to getting somebody that knows how to mix paint to get custom colors. Because Faye had no problem when I showed her the samples that I had. She goes, oh yeah, we can do that here. She ended up taking the swatch that I had and ended up custom mixing, kind of tell that's the same color, custom mixing that color and custom mixing that color. And she told me that if it doesn't exactly match, to bring it back and she'll make it right. She also said that they are putting these particular codes of how to mix these colors onto my account that they made for me. So if I need to, at some time in the future, come back and get a rematch, they'll be able to mix it for me. Talk about customer service. And again, I don't know if it's Sherwin-Williams or if it's Faye Garrison or it's that Faye Garrison is a product specialist, but she very much excitedly mixed up the paint for me. So today I'm going to be putting it, especially the blue. I know I have time to do that today. Some of the things I've got in preparation of that is gloves. And of course, your painting outfit, which you don't mind if it gets paint on it. And it's, this is just old stuff. The paint, obviously you need that. And then I've got a paintbrush for each of the paint. So I have a dry brush for each. And as you can tell, these have been well used on past paint projects. So I am a real stickler for getting every bit of value out of the things that I buy. Of course, paint sticks, pre-used, but dry. So paint sticks to stir that up. A can opener to open up the cans. And then I've got a built-in that I'll need to remove some of the screws so that I can get to paint around the doors. And then a hammer, because when I'm all done, you take the paint can after you put the lid back on it, and then you put one of these on it and pound it down, and that way it seals it again. I've found that sometimes just pounding it with the hammer by itself, it kind of pops up on one side and then pops up on the other side. And so if you do that, then it keeps it down on both sides, which is helpful. The other thing that I do is when I'm using paint, I always have something that I put my paint on before I open it, because it seems inevitably, no matter how hard you try not to spill, there's always some paint spill, or the stir stick falls off and it gets paint on something. So knowing that there is something underneath so that I don't have to scrape paint off whatever the lower surface is helpful. Oh, and something else I'm doing for this particular one is I have a rag and I'm going to get it wet and then scrub down the area that I will be painting. Now I'm using the same paint So what I'm hoping I will be able to do is just go right over. This is a touch-up job, not a totally redo job. And what I like about this is I don't have to buy gallons and gallons of paint. I can just buy a quart and freshen it up a bit. So let's get to painting. So here is the blue built-in, we call it, and it's got some areas that need to be painted over. It's also got some dirty areas that I need to wipe off. And it's not in, I don't think, that bad a shape. It just needs some touch-up work. And then I'll need to remove this particular doorknob so that I can get behind and underneath that to do a little bit of repair work. And then I'll probably just take a look around. I'm seeing that, like here, there's a little bit of work here that needs to be done. I just want to freshen things up a bit. Even though I don't need to paint this area, I just think if everything else is going to look nice, I want the dirt to be cleaned up. So I'm cleaning up the dirt out of the corners as well. Just even cleaning it makes it look a lot better. I always like putting on gloves so that I don't get my hands, make sure I put it on right, so I don't get my hands all goopy. It's easy to clean afterwards by just taking off the gloves. And I usually get a size bigger than I really need. I'm actually a size medium, but I get a large because for me, I just don't like having really, really tight gloves. And then removing the paint top. I only got a quart because I'm just doing touch-ups. So I don't feel any need to get a whole gallon. And the nice thing about this, now that I know that Sherwin-Williams, at least the store I went to, will mix new paint if I need it, or even if way down the line I end up selling our house, then the next person that owns our house would be able to get what they need when it comes to paint colors to match this, if that's what they decide, if they want to keep the colors. I'm going to start doing the top part of it so that when I work my way down, I'm not bumping into the paint. I suppose I should probably just do a little bit here and there to start with to make sure that it does blend. Because like she said, if it doesn't blend, I can bring it back and have it redone. Kind of be nice to do this whole area again. I'd have enough paint to do it. When it first goes on, it seems a lot lighter. I think it'll be more noticeable on this top. It's possible the sides and the fronts of this type of thing, it won't be as noticeable. But I do like the idea of getting it so that it protects the wood underneath. There's like a really big area here that needs to be covered up. I usually actually have a runner over the top of this area anyway, so this doesn't really get shown, the top of it. So the idea of protecting the wood, covering up the little nicks over the years is probably more important than having it look perfect this first go through at least. It's nice knowing that I can fix things up, make them look a little prettier, do the little refresh after 15, 17 years. I mean, that's pretty good paint that it's lasted that long. Just that little bit makes it look a lot nicer. Okay, here is the after. This is 2 days later. And this is the touch-up work. You know, it's not an exact match. You can kind of tell in places. But for me, to have it look this nice and have it be glossy again instead of having a big mark right there. Being able to paint over that big mark has been really nice. And then the other area that I was mostly concerned about, up here, the trim work just looks seamless. And that's what I was looking for. Thanks for joining me on my trim paint refresh, and thanks for watching Barb Talks.